The piece we are doing the first application here in CAC Vilnius is called Geography, and this piece is a part of a process we started 4 years ago. And this process talks about the notion of context, of reality of context, of conceptualization of context also. And the frameworks also where can appear the presence, the body, and the notions also of audience, and try to challenge always the situation of the performance with the audience and because of the audience, and also to include the audience inside the relation of the inside participation of the performance. When we started this project, it was to include something really of the practice of dance, and also the demonstration of the performance inside the museum. And it was to a way to transform the living also into an object, because always when you work in museum spaces, this capacity to be alive stay for a very short time, and for us it was also a problematic of the work. We appear sometimes in exhibition, but always with performances and for very short moments, openings or else, and we were wondering what could be done to criticize something of this relation between performance and museum. I mean, when the museum transform all the performances in object or references or history, and to do on our own, ourselves, exactly the same process, but immediately with the practice of dance. It was also something important in the project, that to react because of the living to the context, and where for us was the context, where was this focus of the context. So we say that of course it's the building, it's the dimensions of the room and else, but also it could be something more if you are talking about the living. And we imagine that the notion of geography also could be a base to talk about context, because geography is a community of citizens in a country, and all these people have in part together the history of the country, the way of living and else. And we said if we use dancers of the country each time, they will give us some information, very precise, maybe energy, else way of doing the things, of approaching also the piece, very different each time. So it can be the base to create each time new choreographies, to appreciate and to catch something of the living exactly from the dancer themselves. Because in each choreography, the influence of the dancer is important. It's different if you have decided to work with this one or her or him. It could change completely the way the choreography will appear at last. So this effect coming from dance, we decided to radicalize with the situation of the country, to express and to speak about something of the context that is so much important in the fact of performance inside museum. Of course, in an exhibition space, there could be no audience during hours. So it doesn't mean that the dancer have to stop when the audience is off and to start at the opposite. So we ask always the dancer to accept that this practice they decided to have, the dance is not completely controlled, and the reason of this practice doesn't come only because of the presence of the audience. For this project precisely, yes, we worked on the system of protocols as we did, but this time we let a little bit aside in this part, because we wanted more to feel something coming from the dancer precisely.
And the history of dance here in Lithuania, and where is the level of the comprehension about body and about dance, and yes, perhaps true for us, it's not exactly what we imagine for the other pieces, but for us, for this piece in particularity, it's really interesting to see what is the concept, and after what is la compréhension, what is the understanding by the dancer, the different level of this concept, of the protocols, and what is the result.
The choreography and the shape that completely expresses the choreography is the mix we done between what we are thinking about this piece and what they give also as them as dancer, but also as them as a Lithuanian citizen. And we stay very cool around the writing of this choreography, because we wanted exactly that the shape resembles and could give really something of this reality of relation we had with them, what they give to us and how we follow this, but sometimes we stop some elements and we articulate all the things together. So the shape becomes really something as an object, but this object is very expressive. When you are writing a choreography, you're also creating your own confinement for your body. I mean that you accept to simplify your action for 1 hour or else, and to repeat some movement. So the capacity of the choreography also to lock up someone inside the movement it's the same also of the choreography that lock up at ends the dancer inside a space.
Donc après effectivement, ça devient leur responsabilité. C'est ça aussi qui nous intéresse dans ce...
Yes, and they have to assume it's their responsibility. The movement, the choreography is their responsibility, and the project at last is done completely by this exchange of responsibilities we have with them. Annie puts a good parallel between the fact that we ask to the dancer to lose the fact of the monstration of themselves as a dancer, and we ask also to the audience to lose the capacity to see exactly what's not the piece is the shape, of course, but what is the
inside,
reason,
yes.
exactly, and what is behind the piece. And
Et moi je pense que la relation elle se fait là, sur cette perte commune.
And the relation
between the audience, yes.
From the audience to the piece and to the dancer is in this sharing of a lost situation, not something that they can have. You can imagine that the piece has started by the announcement also, because everybody can have a lot of imagination and fantasy about the reality of this piece. And yes, it's kind of curiosity to come here and to see the shape and say, yes, I've seen the piece. But the piece exists in the head, so it's not conceptual, but there is a kind of strategy of conceptual work also, because at some moment, if people come and the dancers are not in the box, they can say, I didn't saw the piece. Because they saw the shape, of course, but they can imagine that also maybe the dancers are here, but they are silent. And so this is a kind of strange thing. For us, this is what we wanted exactly. It's to criticize also the capacity of the museum to enclose and to lock up the performance, and the capacity also of the performance to use the effect and the strategy of the museum to create something else. The choreography must be completely something in the fantasy of people, to continue to keep alive for the performance and the piece itself.
Myself, I'm super interested in the relationship between the audience and the performers, and now they are truly separating us, but at the same time they are making the audience to tune in to us more. So in some level, maybe physically they are separating us, but in another way they are making the audience to go a little bit extra to reach us. So it mostly has to do with our vision. So we are looking, we are being, and we are watching. So that is something that in this piece has been taken totally away. So you have to engage your body as well as an audience to tune in, to engage it. So in the same way, this performance is making us engage our body fully. So it's giving that to the audience as well. I think it's kind of nice challenge and fantastic thing for the audience to understand that you don't have to see everything. It can still be art. It can still be experience and performance, even though you are not watching it with your eyes. So they really have to tune in. Hopefully they will hear the sounds. They will come up with some kind of score in their mind. I definitely hope so, that they will feel our energy. So in a way, I hope they will get much full body experience as well as an audience. It's totally different when you have to tune in also. So for me, this is very interesting aspect as well. So the audience is really challenged to listen with the body, with ears, with everything.
Sono tutti qui incantati, appoggiati a una parete, non vedono nulla, è interessante.
Richiede un'attenzione speciale e dialoga molto bene con l'architettura.
Poi colpisce il fatto che i suoni cambiano e ti accorgi di cose che prima non c'erano, tipo l'affaticamento dei ballerini,